Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Pastor Norsten Kolimbo Dimba, and I'm your lecturer in this course called Theoretical Application of Parenting. Before we start, let us pray. Father, we are inviting your name this morning, the name that exceeds all names, to be upon us as we start our lessons this morning. May you help the students to understand the principles and the concepts related to this course called Theoretical Application of Parenting. For this is our prayer in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Next time when we meet, I will ask any one of you to offer an opening prayer. Probably this is the only class where God is mentioned. So if you are a Baha'i, and if a Baha'i person prays, he will not say Amen at the end, but you will just know that he has finished offering a prayer after he observes silence. Clear? You must respect all religions as they are practiced. So, this morning, we have 3 activities to be made in this lesson. Number 1, we are going to do the revision as per last week's presentation. And after the revision, there was an assignment that was given to you to study on some theories related to parenting. So I will ask each group to come up front here and make presentations. And then after those presentations, I will come up with an introduction to chapter 1 of our course outline. As a matter of revision, last week we agreed that this course has a code. What is the code for this course?
323.
No. BSW 3 2 3. Correct. If I ask you about the code has both alphabetical letters and the numerical figures. Clear? So if you only rush to mention the 323, assuming that this is the code of our course, then you have goofed. If you only mention this one, this is a denominator, BSW, it represents bachelors of social work. So you have to say this and this. Clear? Now, what is the full name of this course? Full name. What's the name of the course? Say it.
Theoretical application.
You say the course is theoretical application
of parenting.
It must be of these other guys call of parent, but I have added a geland at the end. And what have I added? I have added ing to sound the way I need. It is better to say theoretical application of parenting, but it also carries water when you say of parent. Now, last week we were busy looking at these words and these words. These words. Words are 2, but this one is the word, this one is the word. Without repeating, close your books. Then we say, what did we say to be the definition of the word Child. What is the definition of that one? With a child. Kime Mwandila. What is the definition of a child?
A child is a person who is under the age of 18 by the law of the land. How the law of the land states, it states that a child is anyone who is under the age of 18.
Okay, the law states that
A child is any person who is under the age
does it states or stipulates?
of 18.
It states, it stipulates, it says,
It says,
it shows,
yes,
all of them put it together. A child. How do you say the definition of a child?
a child is any person who is under the age of 18.
Do we have children here? Under the age of 18. Anyone under the age of 18 is a child. A man died at Insilis last week. He is fathering 6 children, meaning that he is above 18. But when people came to my house to tell me about the death of that man, they said, Mwana wa watoto wa Malira. But he is a man. He has a wife and has left children. What does that show? Mwana wa watoto wa Malira. That's in his jail. Son of daughter or a child of daughter. Because they say, Mwana wa watoto, a child of daughter has died. Can you explain to me?
Okay, so the thing is that we can have a lot of definition according to some of the perspectives of the people. For example, according to Kim's definition, that is according to the Constitution of Mara.
Okay.
But according to the norms and values of the society, any person regardless of the age, provided being born from somebody, is regarded as a child.
You mean me, as I stand here, I am also a child.
Yeah, to your parents, you are also a child.
I am above 18.
That is according to the Constitution of Malawi, but biologically and culturally, anyone, regardless of the age, provided he or she has the parents, to his parents is supposed to be called a child.
Is he saying the truth?
Yeah.
I think that's traditional application, isn't it? An offspring, according to tradition or traditionally, an offspring shall never be called an adult in the presence of his or her parents, isn't it? He will still be called a child, a child, a child, a child. But let us respect probably, if not fear, what this other lady is saying this morning. That the law of Malawi stipulates that any person under the age of 18, that one is a child. Probably that is the main reason why we are here this morning, trying to ensure that a child who is under 18 is well cared by whosoever has responsibility over him, isn't it? And then we are also agreeing this morning that anyone who has responsibility over a human being under the age of 18, that one has also a name which he must be known of. What is that name? No, that is a subset of another name, but there is a name that we are giving to someone overseeing, caring a human being under the age of 18. We call him that is a parent. And that's where we are now. So, in this whole course of ours called theoretical application of parenting, we are going to have a child as our focal area, and then we are also going to have a parent as another focal area. However, we are looking at the theories that are supposed to govern this parent. It must have some principles, the ways, the do's and don'ts of a parent. Why are you supposed to learn to understand these things? The assumption is this, that you are going to be social workers in some given communities. You are going to be social workers in some societies where children exist in their colossal numbers. You go to cities, you go to Dandili, especially at Chirimampunga place. During Sundays, what do you see? People. If you take a special interest, looking with an introspective eye among the people that you see, most of them are youthful in nature, children that needs to be what? To be cared for. And that's one community. Which community do you live? Are there children there? Which community do you live? Are there children there? Or the people have stopped giving birth to children? Do they still give birth to children? Only boys? Both boys and girls are being born there.
Yes.
Where do you live, my lady? Do you see children there? Which means people are not on duty to bring lives in this world. Where do you live, Mama? Why do you see children there? So each one lives in a community where we are greeted by children or greeted with children. We see children moving around. The moment you see children, just know that behind those children there is who? A parent. This one must be a real parent, biological parent, or somebody who is called as a foster parent. So, we are looking at a child and a parent. How? Probably we are trying to examine whether this parent knows his responsibility or her responsibility over the children or not. There are some children, there are some parents who are parents just because God graced them with the potential, with the fertility, but they do not have the principles that can make them to be good parents. Some of you have children and some of you do not have children. However, in the principle, we are looking at you as parents. Because you can parent somebody. We are assuming that you are a parent. You can parent somebody. So, the aim of this course, according to what we said last week, is to provide knowledge and skills of or in parent-child development and care in a community. You must have the knowledge and the skills in as far as parenting a child in a community is concerned. Because you are going to be special advocates in that particular field. You cannot point at somebody saying you are not nurturing or caring children properly without underlining what caring children is all about. For you to criticize somebody that is not caring children well, you must have the guidelines, you must have the framework of what parenting is all about. Clear? You can't provide counsels to somebody until you have a framework regarding the same. For some of you who are not parent yet, praise God. You are getting now the insights of how you can make a very good parent. And I think you will make good husbands and wives. And you will make yourself, you will become good mothers of your own children and fathers of your own children. Some of you who are already parenting some children, this course will help you to adjust and become good ones. Clear? Yeah, it's a very good course. You have been learning studying different courses here. But as far as the social work is concerned, this one is more blessing than the rest. So be with me. If you really want to become a good mother of your own husband's children, be here. You know, I have seen parents who, after seeing their children crying because they needed to be changed, they need to have their dressings changed, the parents also starts crying for not knowing what to do. The baby is crying, the mother is crying, and when the father comes seeing the son is crying, and the mother is crying, the father also starts crying as well. Sir, you are 1 hour late. In as far as the face-to-face module is concerned, you are just to change this habit. Thank you. Sit down. Next time I will surely send you back if you come into my class 1 hour late. Okay, let me continue. There are fathers who cry after seeing their wives crying over the crying of a child. And you see that the son is crying, the mother is crying, the father is crying. I saw this once in my life. And now after studying this course, I wish I could see somebody again and I will beat them all. It's not good. Why do you now go and marry somebody and bear children when you don't have the skills to raise up children? Don't rush. Establish yourself. And then marry somebody's daughter. Okay, that's a little bit all on what we discussed last week concerning the introduction of this course. And then what we are now trying to understand in this week is some theories. We would want to understand some theories that other writers have submitted to us concerning parenting. Yet last week we mentioned some theories. What is the first theory that we made mention concerning parenting? Attachment theory. Number one was a theory called attachment theory. Another theory was what?
Socialization theory.
Socialization theory. The other one was what? behavioral reinforcement theory. We have three theories that we will be regarding as guidance in our course. So this time around, I'm going to ask, who is presenting on it? Okay, Litchwell is presenting on attachment theory. Next is who? Are you the one presenting on socialization theory?
Yes.
And this one is Mwalo. You will forgive me on the name, but let me just take it as it is. Behavioral reinforcement theory. Who is presenting on that one? Any? Okay, Mandira. Now, stay attentive as these individuals walk up front here, one by one, to present exactly how these theories are saying, what these theories are saying. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, now we are going to have our presenter in the name of Litchwell, followed by Mwalo, and later on Queen. So after each and every presenter finishes, remember to clap hands for them. So they will come one after the other. You presenters, a word to you. If you make your presentation and before you end, ask the class if ever they have some questions to ask you. You are not going to be the only person answering their questions because you discussed these things as a group. So if you have observed that the question being posed on you is a big and serious question, then you can ask your friends, members of your team, to help you responding to that question. But if you find that it is just a over question, then give us the answer. And after that, then you say, that's all I had for you. If you hear that that's all I had for you, then immediately clap hands for that presenter. Is that agreed?
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, in this time around, I am inviting a man, and this man is none other than Litchwell, one of our brothers. For you who are listening from far away, please, wherever you are this morning or any other time that you are convenient, remember to take notes as these presenters are making their presentation. Even you who are here in this room, remember that you are taking notes. We don't want to have casualties, people failing the examinations. So take notes. If somebody comes here and starts presenting on something related to this course, make sure that you are also attentive. You are not somebody who is just an idle vessel. You must be attentive. Brother Litchwell, this is now your time. Take your space and then make presentations to the class. When you are making presentation, you should also make an effort to look at the camera so that they should see who Litchwell is.
Once again, good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
My name is Rachel Jackson. In our group, we discussed about attachment theory in connection with parenting. In my presentation this morning, I'm going to take you through the definition, brief history, stages of attachment, factors that influence attachment, as well as some of the assumptions of this theory. And to start with the definition of attachment, according to Bobley, 1961, it defined attachment as a lasting psychological connectedness between human beings. Another author defined attachment as a deep and enduring emotional bond between people in each seeks closeness and feels more secure when in the presence of the attachment figure. What attachment theory? This is a theory that humans are born with a need to form a close emotional bond with a caregiver, and that such a bond will develop during the first 6 months of the child's life if the caregiver is appropriately responsive. From the definition, let's now look at a brief history of this theory. The attachment theory was originated with the seminal work of John Bowlby. That was back in 1958. John Bowlby worked as a psychologist in a child guidance clinic in London, where he treated many emotionally disturbed children. The experience of Bowlby led to consider the importance of the child's relationship with their mother in terms of their social, emotional, as well as cognitive development. Specifically, it shaped the belief about the link between infant separations with the mother and later maladjustment, which led to formulate this theory. From that, looking at that brief history, we can now move on to the stages of this theory, which is called attachment theory. According to the longitudinal research done by Rudolf Schaefer and Peg Emerson, there are only 4 stages. The first stage is called pre-attachment stage. This stage started from the time of birth to 3 months, whereby the infants do not show any particular attachment to the specific caregiver. The infant signals such as crying and fusing naturally attract the attention for the caregiver, and the baby's positive response encourages the caregiver to remain the closeness. Before I go further, if I'm very fast, you can say so that maybe I can adjust my speed. The second stage of this theory, it begins between 6 weeks of age to 7 months. At this time, infants began to show preferences for primary and secondary caregivers. Infants at this stage develop trust that the caregiver will respond to their needs, while they still accept care from others. Infants at this stage also start distinguishing between the familiar and unfamiliar people, responding more positively to the primary giver. The third stage is called discriminate attachment. At this point, that is from about 7 to 11 months of age, infants show strong attachment and preference for one specific individual. They will protest when separated from the primary attachment figure and begin to display anxiety around the strangers. The last stage is called multiple attachment, which start approximately 9 months of age. At this stage, children begin to form strong emotional bonds with other caregivers beyond the primary attachment figure. This often includes a second parent, older siblings, as well as the grandparents. After looking at those stages, ladies and gentlemen, now let's look at the factors that influence attachment. There are 2 factors that influence attachment. One is the opportunity for the attachment. This whereby children who do not have a primary care figure, such as those raised in orphanages, may fail to develop the sense of trust needed to form an attachment. I'll come again on that first factor. I'm saying it's opportunity for the attachment, whereby children who do not have a primary care figure, such as those raised in orphanages, may fail to develop the sense of trust needed to form an attachment. The last factor is quality caregiving. When caregivers respond quickly and consistently, children learn that they can depend on the people who are responsible for their care, which is very essential foundation for attachment. I'll come again on that one. Quality caregiving as another factor that influences attachment. Then I'm saying, when caregivers respond quickly and consistently, children learn that they can depend on the people who are responsible for their care, which is an essential foundation of the attachment. Looking at the factor that influence this attachment theory, ladies and gentlemen, let's now move on to the attachment styles. When we say attachment styles, we just refer to the particular way in which an individual relates to other people. The style of attachment is formed at the very beginning of life, and once established, it is a style that stays with you and plays out today in how you relate in intimate relationship and in how you parent your child. Let me explain again on how attachment styles is all about. I'm saying attachment styles, these are just a particular ways in which an individual relates to other people. The style of attachment is formed at the very beginning of a life, and once established, it is a style that stays with you. Let me repeat that, with you, stays with you and plays out today in how you relate in intimate relationship and in how you parent your children. Looking at how attachment style is all about, now let's see these styles one by one. The first one is called secure attachment. According to Bob Ray, that was 1988, described secure attachment as the capacity to connect well and securely in relationship with others, while also having the capacity for autonomous action as situationally appropriate. This secure attachment is characterized by 1. Trust, adaptive response to being abandoned, and the belief that one is worthy of love. After looking at that style, which we call secure attachment, now let's look at another style, attachment style, which is called anxious attachment. Anxious attachment is about relationships it's all about the relationship characterized by the concern that others will not reciprocate one's desire for intimacy. This is caused when an infant learns that their caregiver or parent is unreliable and does not consistently provide responsive care towards their needs. An anxious attached infant is characterized as being somewhat ambivalent to the another. The infant often demonstrates signs of resisting interactions with the mother, especially during the strange situation of reunion episode. Another attachment style is called avoidant attachment. This style, children with avoidant attachment styles tend to avoid interactions with the caregiver and show no distress during separations. This may be because the parent has ignored attempts to be intimate, and the child may internalize the belief that they cannot depend on this or any other relationship. An infant with an avoidant attachment is characterized by displaying little to no tenderness of seeking proximity with the mother. The infant often showed no distress during the separation with the mother, interacted with the stranger similar to how he or she would interact with the mother, and showed slight signs of avoidance when united with the mother. The other style is called disorganized attachment. This was discovered by Main and Solomon that was back in 1986. Discovered that a sizable proportion of infants actually did not fit into secure, anxious, or avoidant based on their behaviors in the strange situation experiment. They categorize these infants as disorganized attempt type. Disorganized attachment is classified by children who display sequences of behavior that lack readily observable goals or intentions, including obviously contradictory behaviors or stealing, freezing of movements. He also found out that the parents of discarded infants often had unresolved attachment-related traumas, which caused the parents to display either frightened or frightened behaviors, in turn resulting in the disorganized infants to be confusing or forcing them to rely on someone that they were afraid of them at the same time. Now, after looking at those styles, let's go to some of the assumptions of this theory. The first assumption, this was also conducted by Bobbe, who is the founder of this theory, is humans are born with an attachment system which motivates individuals to seek proximity, comfort, and assistance from parents, led other protective figures such as teachers, friends, romantic partners, counselors, especially when some threat or divest the inmate. Another assumption is that the preferences of individuals towards specific figures, such as their parents, is not inherent. Instead, children develop this need to seek their primary attachment figure as a consequence of their experiences with their persons. The person who is most available and responsive to the infant, especially during the static or threatening context, becomes the primary attachment figure. Let me come again with that assumption. The assumption is that preference of the individuals towards specific figures, such as their parents, is not inherited. Instead, children develop this need to seek their primary attachment figure as a consequence of their experiences with the person. The person is most available, responsive to the infant, especially during stressive or threatening context, becomes the primary attachment figure. The other assumption, the infant usually develops a hierarchy of relationship ranging from the person to whom they favor the most when they seek proximity and support to other individuals who they do not favor as appreciably. This position diverges slightly from previous perspectives formulated by Bobbe called monotromy, which has shown that infants primarily seek support from single individual, usually the mother. The other assumption, the infant preference towards a primary attachment figure or caregiver primarily evolves from the provision of support and sensitivity during social interactions, especially in the threatening context. According to the mere provision of food or relief from the discomfort does not appreciably affect their preferences. The last assumption, infant experiences with the caregiver over time coalesces to shape their thoughts, beliefs, expectations, emotions, memories, and behaviors about the self and about other individuals, called Internal Working Model of Social Relationship. With that point, ladies and gentlemen, this marks the end of my presentation this morning, unless if there are some questions. But let me thank you so much for your wonderful audience. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Richwell, for your wonderful presentation. And then thanks very much to the members of this group. Make sure that if you have not managed to get all the notes from his presentation, you meet him at your own free time. Not at on your free time, but I will also have this material, then I will put that one on the portal so that those guys who are far from here. But no, I will not put this one. You have to Google, guys, Google what we call attachment theory, which has been presented. School is not simple, it's work. You have to Google and then get notes. Areas to note is who is the champion of this theory. Is John Soso 1961. You must know that guy. And you remember that according to what this theory speaks of, it talks of a bond between people. Did you hear him mentioning something like a bond? Did you hear that? And then there are stages. There are stages. If you need to capture everything from him, dwell on who is the champion of this theory. You must know that person and the year. Number two, what does this theory stipulates? Number three, there are stages. Actually, 4 of them. Know those stages and at least have something concerning those stages. Remember there are factors. Remember there are factors that influence attachment. Factors, I'm saying factors that influence what? Attachment. And after that, in this theory, you also need to know there are attachment styles. Attachment styles. And then lastly, there is what we call assumptions of this theory. Brothers and sisters, we are not here to play, but we are here to do serious business. Theoretical application of parenting. DSW 323. Remember, one of the assumptions is this, that humans are born with attachment systems. And that is why, after you are grown up, you will one day be attached to your husband. People who are born with very 0% or few percentage of those systems, there are these people who can declare that have married to queen, and then after 5 weeks, they are back with their parents. We need to pray for these guys to have an increased attachment systems. You can see a boy befriending this one. After 3 weeks, shatter. Dumping each other without even notice. People with low attachment systems. So human beings are born with attachment systems. Thank you, Brother Richmond, for your presentation. You can submit that one. Let us once again clap hands for him. Sweet, well done. Presentations like this indicate that the people really qualified to be in the third year. It's not mediocratic presentation. Real, tangible, worthy, nice presentation. To God be the glory. This time around, we are going to have another presenter in the name of Mwaro. Mwaro, can you walk up front here and try to tell us more on socialization theory in as far as parenting is concerned? Brothers and sisters, Now, joining the stage is another student and a presenter in the name of Juan.
Okay, good morning. My name is Constance Gua. I'm going to present on the importance of socialization in family. Starting with the definition of socialization is a fundamental process through which a family acquires culture and personal identity. Each person undergoes natural plans, negative or positive socialization. A family is one of the agencies that introduce a child to aspects like culture, physical, and psychological identities and behavior and environment, which are some of the major elements of socialization. And another definition in socialization, socialization is the process which parents transmit or transfer the values to their children. Their behaviors learned to childhood family transmitted to the mature family. Example of socializations. In the family are being to be obey rules, being they are rewarded after chores, and being taught how to behave in public. Commonly, there are three types of families: single parent, nuclear, extended. Each of them family may differently expose a child to aspects of socialization. The main role of a family is to nurture, mold, and guard children in the society. Before a child who does not belong to any family may undergo a negative socialization process. All children are products of their environment. To impact positive social values in a child, parents should choose an environment free from any negative influence. For example, like drug abuse, criminal activities, and immoral behaviors are some of the negative aspects of an environment might impact in a growing child. Most children learn from their friends, peers, parents, neighbors, and schoolmates. A very major role of family to ensure that the children always feel that they are in their home, that can make them. However, they also have to tell the children that the society will always protect them. Through family, only the children get to understand how the society will protect them and look after them, help them in their time of need. We begin to feel safe and the society only then will be able to become a good member of the society. A family teaches many things to its children in order to introduce them to the society. As a time, a child needs to be told upfront about what to do and how to behave, and sometimes in an indirect manner. The easiest popular and common ways to teach a child to behave is by showing how to behave. If a family member behaves in a certain way, the children automatically start to replicate the manner. The learning and socialization of a child is to great extent and subjected to the way his family is. It's so because the family is a child's basic social group. In last, the family automates responsible for alternating changes and molding a child and inculcating in him for good and position values. Social and behavioral skills are comfort and security. Raising a child is a difficult task. However, enlightening a blessing is distinguished too is one of the most rewarding gifts of entire world. The role of the family in socialization of child is uncountable as a parent. We always try to remember that we are not only teaching our child, but also ensuring that we act in the same way in which we want in our child to act and behave. We all know that it is next of impossible to be perfect all the time. However, a parent it is our job to responsibility to ensure that our child gets perfectly in the society. None of us perfect. No family is also ideal, but every family aims to ensure that their child is able to socialize comfortably in the society. As such, knowing and understanding importance and roles of a family is making a child social crucial. We all agree that parents are a child's first teachers. They begin to teach them from the day they were born, more than any school or any organizations. A child's initial and primary learning takes place at his home and the comfort and surrounded by their family. Such a family plays a very important in creating sociable environment for the child, so that they can be able to learn the correct skills of qualities. Knowing how to socialize, being secure creates a perfect foundation based upon which the child can grow and be fearless, happy and confident. According to Duncan May's system, both physical and scientific interact to determine the social behavior of an individual. Mike China, 1999, is explaining how socialization is important. The system usually depends on the social roles surrounding the individuals. The balance between humans and the social maintains a stable society. Religion, culture, tradition are some of the elements which shape up the society. The society established special social control tactic in children which confront the desired values and practices. For instance, if an individual adopts a becoming behaviors like becoming behaviors, the people around them, he or she, to discourage the behavior, therefore, in a relation to family as a channel of socialization. Okay. The society establishes special social control tasks which confront the desires, values, and practices. According to Marx, the political, social, and economic stability of society to control children, Weston explained properly about this in 2002. Through family is socializing institution, an individual must fall in some of the groups. A child from a ruling class family will fight to maintain the status in the society. The conflict theory gives a sense of belonging to the society, especially during socialization. The family as a social environment may change due to context of internal forces like conflicts, divorce, immigration, death, and other natural calamities like floods. Due to above issues, a child may change his or living environment, which may also change the course of his or socialization process. Similarly, a child may lose a parent in early age, leaving him or her in the care of step-parents, foster parents, and grandparents. The unfortunate ones of up as a street children, the new environment may be negate or expose child to new social practices or impact negative social practice in them. Political instability is among the elements that may scatter a family and consequently affect the transmission of social norms in children. Furthermore, some of the traumatic events may also develop or impact negative social values like hatred in children. According to Gainer Morphy, has developed the theory of self as a fundamental aspect of socialization. According to Murphy, as an individual, as a self-reflection of environment, especially the people one interact with children. May 1997, the theory of looking Grasso describes the individual characters of the meaner of the society. Apparently, judgment and self-feelings of an individual development through social interaction. This is the end of the presentation. If you have any question, you can ask me.
What does socialization theory state?
Eh?
What does socialization theory state? What does it mainly focus on?
Focus on how the family, how parents give let me say, how parents, let me see, how can I put it? Okay.
The theory states that it transfers the values to their children, like the behavior, they teach them how to obey the elders, rewarding them after being good at school. That's what I can say.
Okay, let us clap hands for Sister Costas Wow for struggling to make a good presentation. I need something that you will submit to me, and then it must have ritual. You will submit yours. It must have the names of the members of your group. The cover page must have the name or the course code, the name, and then the names who are submitting that one. You must submit to me like that. Thank you so much, Costas. Costas, you had the meat, but probably the presentation skill is what you are going to develop as time goes through socialization. Anyway, socialization theory, according to what she has done, stipulates that we, human beings, speaking on behalf of the children, acquires culture. By culture, we are simply referring to standards of good living or bad living. We acquire these things through and only through socialization. Clear? If some of you are bad people, you were not created bad. No. We were all made good in the image of the Lord. And why is it that you are now using obscene languages? The answer is what? Through what? Socialization. All these bad habits that people have, it's socialization. Queen, you were just a very good girl when you were under 18. But where are these other things coming from now? Socialization. The way how we manage our hair, socialization. Just be in Muzingo socialization. The way how we dress our bodies is what? What's the result? It's the result that of socialization. The colors that we choose is what? The drink, the spectacles, the whatsoever, socialization. Who told you that beer is food? Socialization. So socialization is something that models us. What do we mean here? A parent, I have a lesson that a parent has more influence in the manner she socializes with the child. Socialization. Some people are very selfish. They cannot eat in public with others. They cannot even share food. All these things are there because of socialization. You can bring a lady, you can bring a boy in the midst of his fellows, and you see that he says, I will be eating alone. Socialization. Chineke. Socialization. So we are what we are because of what? Socialization. Whether you are a good girl or a bad girl, no much business with us, is because of how your parents socialize with you. It is pathetic that other parents influence stealing behaviors on their children. Socialization. Should you be a mother of a boy or a girl, a young boy, girl, and then you are a single parent as she has already said, and then the boys, the children are seeing ritual, coming and chat with you throughout the night, and tomorrow they see that other guy also visiting you, and you tell your children, this is an uncle, but he's sleeping with you, he's eating your lips, and they say, uncle is eating my mother's lips. And tomorrow, this one comes in, he does the same. Okay, another uncle, Uncle A, Uncle B, Uncle C. And your girl is C. Socialization. I would want to let you know that these things we call socialization are very fundamental in as far as the growth of a child is concerned. The children have the capacity to see and learn from what you as a parent are doing. Socialization. Constance was very keen to say that there are so many types of families: single parents, extended families, and the nuclear families. They are all there to socialize the children, the offspring. Make sure that as a parent, you influence something good. You instigate, you propagate good behaviors to your children. If you don't, know for sure that you are missing a ball. If you are a mother and your mother is still living, and your children, they are seeing you trying to get set to beat your mother, the children are looking, are observing, are seeing that when a mother behaves foolishly, you can get set and aim at her and beat him and even throw some blows at her. Just wait for your turn. They will beat you tooth to nail. Socialization. Are you a help of other people? The children are seeing you. They will do exactly what you are seeing. The theory stipulates that we acquire culture through what? Socialization. She was very honest to say that in this world, it's a world of sorrow and death and sicknesses. But she did not capitalize on that one. She capitalized on the political instability. She even started in mentioning instability. The wars and whatsoever, they can displace your children. You can die and leave your children in the hands of other people. You can die as a good parent. But the people who will come in and take over the responsibility on your children, maybe they can become bad people. They will still instigate bad manners on your child. And we hear people speaking these days saying, and that is why in theoretical application of a parent, we say in capital letters that when you are hiring these, you call nannies. Do you call them nannies? Make sure that you are there to hire only good people who have the capacity to reason well. Because if you hire a mediocratic nanny, you are instigating mediocrity in your child. Who is he that cared you when your parents were away? Who cared you? If you bring in many people to care your children, the children will end up being made because of this caregiver. God have mercy on us. At this juncture, let me invite the third presenter. And this one is none other than our fellow student in the name of Queen Mwandira, who will come now and with a theory called behavioral reinforcement. Ukuzira kugoma
Good morning, my name is Queen Mwandira and I'm going to take you through the theory called behaviorism, the enforcement theory. First of all, I'm going to define what behaviorism is. So, behaviorism refers to the psychological approach which emphasizes the scientific and objective method of investigation. The approach is only concerned with the observation, stimulus-response behaviors, and states all behaviors are learned through interaction with the environment, which equally is collaborating with the socialization theory which my fellow students just stated. And also this theory, the behaviorism movement began in the 1913 with John Weston, who wrote the article which was titled Psychology as the behaviorist views. Furthermore, let's go to the reinforcement theory. What does it state? This theory is a psychological principle suggesting the behavior are shaped through the consequences and the individual behavior can be changed through the enforcement, punishment, and existation. There are 4 types of reinforcement. These are positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, existation, and punishment. By going further, Skinner also came in with the operant conditioning, which he said that reinforcement theory says that the behavior is driven by the consequences. As such, positive behaviors should be rewarded positively, and negative behaviors should not be rewarded or should be punished. By relating it to the course which we are running right now, theoretical application of parenting, we may see that when a child maybe has done something wrong, a mother or a father can be whipping that child in order for them to reform the behavior of that child. This is equally stating to the negative reinforcement. Also, I can give an example of maybe in schools, which our teachers maybe can be like, when you have scored over 90%, you're going to be given a pen and a book. This is actually stating the positivity of the reinforcement. They are trying to encourage the positive behavior in that child who is now stated as a student in the class. Okay. The 4 behavior theories, there are 4 modules for behavior theories. These include the healthy belief module, the theory of the self-efficiency, the theory of the reasoned action, and the multitude utility of the mode. There are also 2 types of reinforcement, as I've already stated in the upper explanation of mine. There is positive reinforcement, the adding factor to increase a behavior. As I already gave an example of a teacher giving a book and a pen when you have scored maybe over 90%. They are trying to add to increase the good behavior in that person. And the second one is negative reinforcement. This is used to remove a factor to increase a behavior. For example, being punished, as I stated in the other explanation of mine, saying that maybe a mother or a father whipping a child just because maybe he has pronounced a word which is not good, or maybe has done a behavior which is not acceptable in the family. That means that when they have done a negative reinforcement, they are trying to inform that child to go to the positive act of behavior. And also Skinner came up with the example saying that in an experiment known as Skinner box, now he is trying to put this behaviorism theory into a state of practice, which he used a card in a box with a laser that laced food into a box. After the light accidentally hit the laser enough time, it usually learned that it is just its behavior pulling the laser led to the specific consequence. Okay. Skinner put a laser in a box where he put also a card in order for him to practice this behavior. So when the card pulls the laser, a laser is like something which goes up and down. So when the cat pulls that thing, it showed like maybe food was coming inside, landing inside. And also sometime when he moved like food and he was like pan, it was teaching the cat like when you touch this thing, maybe forcibly the food will be coming in. Maybe if you touch this thing accidentally down here, you're going to get what? You're going to get yes. Okay, my explanation is not going to be that much because we have learned a lot about behaviorism, behavior reinforcement theory through the other parts of the courses which we have been learning. For example, the developmental psychology, counseling psychology. But my emphasis today, I only wanted to relate this theory into our today's course, which I've already explained clearly. I hope each and everyone has understood what it means of to say behaviorism is a reinforcement theory in relation to the theoretical application of parenting. It is all about a parent giving punishment and rewards for a child to maybe leave the bad behaviors and also to give the rewards for the child to continue having the good behaviors. Thank you. This marks the end of my presentation. If you have any questions for me.
Type number 3 of the types.
Yes.
Mention it.
The four modules
Yes.
of behaviorism theory. The healthy belief module, the theory of the self-efficiency, the theory of reasoned action, and the attribute utility module.
Find the 4 types of reinforcement.
4 types of reinforcement.
Punishment being the 4th one.
Yes.
Yes.
Positive reinforcement, negative
And
reinforcement,
the third one.
excitation, and punishment, the last one.
5. Who is the champion of this theory?
The champion of this theory is Watson, yes, John Watson.
Thank you so much. Let us clap hands for this lady. I am so happy, brothers and sisters, so happy indeed, in a manner that you have managed to present real life issues. I can just come up with one sentence summarizing all what she has said. One sentence is enough. She is saying, behavior is learned, but can it be what? Changed through measures. That's what she has been saying. So, if we, all of us as we live here, have bad behaviors through socialization and through attachment, we see attachment is giving so many behaviors to children, isn't it? We see socialization is giving so many bad behaviors to children. Children get behaviors, bad or good, through attachment. And through what? And then comes Queen Mandela and says, brothers and sisters, let your heart not be what? Troubled. If your children have bad behavior through attachment, if your children have bad behavior through socialization, our Queen comes to you now with a solution. Yes, attachment has poisoned your children. Yes, socialization have poisoned your children. But I come to you with 3-4 measures. That bad behavior which is in your children, do not have problems with it because it is ready. Therefore, it can be changed. This one is coming to us as a solution giver. Ngati ndiwe bombo, umbombo woko zavuta. She is giving us that we should be, if the one way of making you good is to slap you. So, bad behaviors can be changed. Brothers and sisters, if I was to introduce this course, Theoretical Application of Parenting, BSW 323, if I was to introduce it in another way, and if I was to develop it in another way, if I was to conclude this in another way, I will be able right now to stand to you and say, the course has ended. Yeah. To God be the glory. Bye for now. The course has been introduced, developed, and concluded. All what remains for me is just to give you, because this is the framework of the course. Now what remains is me to just add some steps within that framework. But the course has been fully introduced, fully developed, and fully concluded. That is me, Nosteni Kolimbo. God bless you.